Welcome back to Your Wake Up Call. I'm Jamonica Nunnery, co-founder of Stay Woke, and today we have a special guest.
Hello world, my name is Robert Brown, RJ for short, or RJPhotography.
Today I'm going to be interviewing Robert just to get his experience, his life story. He's a small business owner, and so today we're going to tap into that and see what led to his success. Would you briefly tell us the history of your business?
Got my starting in Hammond, back at home in high school. I've been doing photography now for 8 years. I just made 8 years today, and it's been a long journey. Had to get better as a photographer, get better as a businessman as well. And I transitioned from high school, taking pictures in the yearbook, and then started my collegiate career, pretty much working for the newspaper, and I became photo editor after 2 years. And from there, I started branding myself around the campus and abroad as far as the community as well. And from that point, got more heavily involved in social media and pretty much started just kind of finding my niche as far as senior portrait photographer.
Where did your organization's funding come from, and how did you go about getting it?
Pretty much my dad actually went half on me to purchase my first camera, and from there I did some trading up and invested more into my craft. Found out you can do PayPal, which is a bill me later. I had good credit thanks to my parents, so I decided to step out and purchase some more camera equipment. Invested $3,000 in that, and from there I was on the roll. I was taking pictures, doing things and such, but at the same time I experienced a tragedy and I lost everything. It actually was stolen out of my vehicle, and from there I had to rely on the donations of my peers, colleagues in campus, and also my fraternity brothers as well. Actually took it upon themselves to allow me to throw a party, and I was able to raise a little bit over $1,000, and I was able to come back with another camera, 60D. But at the same time, from there I grew my collection of equipment, and I wanted to make a big statement for this fashion show I was throwing. So I decided to do the same thing again, and I invested $4,000 in more equipment this time, and yeah, I got stolen again. So that's where I'm at. That's how I was able to get to where I'm at now, which is borrowing my fraternity brother's camera, and I'm thankful for it.
Okay, I know you've heard a lot about the GoFundMe accounts. What's your opinion with people using them and asking others to fund their dreams through GoFundMe?
Really, with GoFundMe, I've done a lot of different ones. One was Kickstarter when I did the first time. They work, but you know, they want a percentage for one. Some people do have different motives. I feel like some people probably abuse it as well. I mean, I had a real tragedy happen to me, so I felt like mine was legit. But some people want you to, you know, help them raise money for their trip that they want to take. And granted, that's all great to support, but I feel like on a major scale like that, you need to be more considerate of what you ask for. Because, I mean, granted, I'm the type of person I didn't necessarily want to ask, but at the same time, I had to realize I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't get back to where I wanted to get to by myself, so I did take that approach. And it did turn out well. I had a lot of people invest back into my craft, and I was truly thankful for it.
What advice would you give to someone that has a desire to have their own business, start their own business, but they don't have the funding and they're not sure, they can't afford to quit their full-time job?
First, definitely be passionate about it. If you really feel that you can make a difference in that, and if you have a good will about what you're trying to do, I say go for it. If you have to work that second job, still work it, but at the same time, once you're at home, devote your time to pursuing your craft or pursuing your business adventure. I would never just say wait until whatever. I mean, waiting can only get you nowhere, actually. So focus on, you know, building yourself up. Do some research in the meantime. Grow your capital. If you know what you're trying to do, maybe somebody's out there that can help. You know, I always said to myself, you know, you can't do anything by yourself, and if you got all this whole network of individuals who are aiding you or who believe in you. So if anything, if you can't do it yourself or you can't devote full time in your endeavors, I would also, you know, maybe consider bringing in someone else who you can trust and understand to get the job done.
So what would you say your favorite aspect of being a business owner is, and what's your most satisfying moment?
My most favorite aspect of being a small business owner would probably be the freedom to be able to do what you want when you want. Not saying that you can just do that anyway, because you have a responsibility to cater to the needs and the wants of your clients or whoever your target, client would be, whether it's a business to business type of aspect or anything like that. But granted, it's not easy at all. Trying to go along this path of entrepreneurship, but it's a measurable risk that is worth the astonishing feat of knowing that you're doing something that you're passionate about, you love. And I guess the most satisfying moment as far as my photography business is having those clients finally see the final picture or edits that I actually present to them. And it's just always a great feeling to have them say, "Oh my goodness, I love every single one." And I'm able to say that because I've heard it so many times, and it humbles me at the same time because I know I might be so strict on myself, but at the same time I'm so strict on myself to where my work shows the quality that my client would never, ever not like.
So back to your freedom, what do you think is something you will be able to do as a business owner versus an employee?
You can set your own schedule. Granted, you should work depending on how much you want to make, and that's one thing I'm having to learn. I've missed a lot of opportunities, or I find myself, one of my petty peeves, but one of my, weaknesses is not taking that initiative to actually be proactive and seeking clients or new customers. And so that's really just the basis of it, being able to just make your own shots or do things that you can possibly do and not be limited in your income. You go to a job or be an employee for someone else and you're promised this wage. And granted, with that wage, you have to figure out how you're going to live. And you never know, you might not be planning for your future. And another thing to actually go in result as far as an entrepreneur, you have to also think about, your future, your benefits, health, your retirement. And granted, you might have that comfortability with a job or being an employee, but at the same time, we're all made different. My fingerprint is not like yours is not like mine, and it's our own unique fingerprint. So we were called to do something greater, and with that being said, I know with being an entrepreneur, you can make the decision for yourself. No one can just dictate what you can do. So
Awesome. What do you believe are 3 key elements to starting and running a successful business?
Number 1, you have to be passionate and driven. A lot of times people want to do things because they see someone else doing them, or they want to be part of something, and they're not necessarily driven to do it or to accomplish it. So with that, you find yourself really just going with the flow and not really being happy. Second one would probably be, you gotta have a good will about what you're doing. A lot of times, I can be a drug dealer, I can be making a lot of money, being successful with it, but is it really impacting my community in a positive way? It's tearing up homes, it's leaving the people strung out, and, in rehab and things like that. So there's nothing that's really being a great positive impact. The third would be the satisfaction, really just being able to know that you're making that difference. And that's it.
What is it that motivates you?
A lot of different aspects motivate me. One would be just the knowing that I can use what God gave me the ability to do and impact others. Memories, photos, these are things that people take for granted in this fast-paced world. You take a picture now and people want to instantly, let me see it, But if you go back down to the path of where photography started, it's painting with light pretty much. So you take a photo, that exposure, you got to go in a dark place to actually develop that thing. That even by that, it kind of coincides with my entrepreneurship. I can't just say, oh, I'm instantly famous or I'm instantly great at being a photographer. It took time. And that what drives me is the willingness to know that it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that's going to be so much rewarding because knowing that I'm doing something that I love.
How do you define success within your photography business?
Knowing that, for one, my bills can be paid, because within the business, the objective of a business is the profit. Two, but with that, you know that when people call you to take a picture or to cover their event, whatever it may be, that you're providing a service and you're being professional about it. So that's kind of what I live for, is just providing a professional service that I can make people express, or I can express emotion and inspire people to be like, wow, I can't believe he actually was able to capture that moment. So now I can look back on 50, 30 years from now and say, this is us, and this is what we were, and this is what we are now.
So what exactly is your routine as an entrepreneur? For those that are already entrepreneurs, what do you think are some things that you should do daily to make sure that you're doing what you should be doing?
For me, being
as a leader
and being the only person in my business, I'm always consistently doing something to make myself better or to make my business better. I know a part of the question was like, how many hours do I devote to it? On average, maybe 10 to 12 hours a day. But at the same time, when I'm in season and I'm like dealing with clients, if I'm not shooting, editing, marketing, proofing, advertising, traveling, it's just always something that I have to do. And especially when you're trying to expand your business, and it takes a lot of extra effort. You can be mediocre, but at the same time, if you want to be something greater, if you want those clients that's going to be willing to pay anything and everything for you, then you're going to have to do something that normal people wouldn't do.
So how many hours do you spend researching and reading books and watching videos or whatever you're doing to
years? Not hours. Years.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like I said, I started in high school, 2009, and ever since then, like, I've been figuring out the new technology, the new equipment, new tricks of the trade, masters of the craft who actually been putting in plenty of years. 8 years may seem like a lot. This cats have been doing it for 20, 30 years, so who am I to just say, oh, I'm the best in my region or best in my area? Nah, you always gonna be learning your whole life. So initially, I stayed up to like 6 o'clock in the morning every night over the summer. One summer, it's like I'll come off from work about like 10 o'clock, from 10 to 12 to like 3 to like sometimes I would wake up, when my dad would wake up and be like, son, you still up? Like, yeah, man, I'm on here getting it. And like one of the things I actually had to master, well, I ain't gonna say I mastered because I haven't, but I had to learn how to use was Photoshop. And even over the years, just think, the software that you use, people developed it. So even they have to work on getting better over time. And that's like, I kind of grew with Photoshop. Granted, I don't know when Photoshop was established, but at the same time, Photoshop was not what Photoshop is now, and what things people can do, and with the creative, endless possibilities that you can actually attain with it. So I was one of those nerd guys, instead of playing video games, I was on the computer trying to figure out how to edit a photo.
So you would agree that this would be something you should do daily research?
Daily, to the day you die, if this is what you're passionate about, yeah.
Are there any books you would recommend reading to anyone?
For photography or just for business?
For business.
I've read some books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I'm currently reading a book called Start by John Aquaf, I believe. Some other books, let's see, the Bible. So where all the wisdom comes from. I had this book by Dave Ramsey called Entrepreneurship. Entreleadership, I'm sorry. Because entrepreneurship is just normal. But the whole thing about this book is taking the qualities of an entrepreneur and taking the qualities of a leader and combining the two to make this awesome individual to be able to lead whatever the business is, whatever the company or group organization is to success.
Are there any closing remarks before we leave today?
Yeah. Some of what I can contribute to, especially the college students who are looking to be an entrepreneur. For one, find a great mentor, and not just one. Find one that is in your field of study or field of passion or whatever business you're trying to do. Find a personal one who you might cry and lean on when things get difficult, because they will. Two, don't try to do too much at one time, because you will overwhelm yourself and you will freak you out and you will want to quit. And you like I say, you don't want to overwhelm yourself, because a lot of times we have these great ideas and we want to do so many great things, but we tend to need to take our time and slow your pace. Number three, don't spend all your money. Like, when you get these college refund checks, and be smart about it. Granted, you don't have to pay that money back regardless. So if you want to do something smart, invest in yourself. Don't invest in Jordan. Don't invest in the PlayStation. That stuff is childish. You need to grow up. And if you really want to be a leader or somebody that's going to be worth something one day, focus on building yourself up, building your financial peace.
And also, with getting a mentor, you should also get an accountability partner, somebody that's going to push you and that's going to stay on you. You tell them your goal and your dream, and they're going to ask you and keep reminding you that you said you were going to do this, and make sure you do it.
Right.
RJ, we thank you for coming today.
And thank you for having me, guys. So much. You can reach me at www.rjbrownportraits.com, and pretty much from there you can book me. You can actually go to my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest as well. I'm also on LinkedIn, and my YouTube page is www.youtube.com/RJBrownVideos.
Thank you all for tuning in. I really hope this helps someone that desires to be an entrepreneur or is already an entrepreneur, and I hope that this inspired and motivated you. You can reach us at istaywoke.org, or you can find us on all social media sites. The links will be provided below. Thank you for tuning in.
Never quit.